Now I've just entered the main grounds of the cemetery, and I'll just give you a brief pan and a brief little history lesson. Now the Germans are different to the British and the Allies and everyone else they fought against. The British have a gravestone representing one individual soldier. For each individual soldier they found, the body remains, they would give an individual stone for. Germans, on the other hand, have stones like this, where there is more than one name engraved on the stone. On this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Germans buried here for each stone. And look how many stones there are. There are hundreds of them. Hundreds and hundreds. The sun's come out now, so it's got a bright camera. And also another striking contrast to the British and Commonwealth graves are the stones are flat and they are black, whereas the British and Commonwealth and Allied cemeteries and graves all have upright stones and are white. This was done in accordance with the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, when the armistice was signed in November the 11th, 1918, when the armistice kicked in. On the 28th of June 1919 was signed the Treaty of Versailles to officially end the war. Now, under the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, this is how Germans were to be buried. Remember, I'm in Belgium. This is not Germany, but Germany occupied Belgium occupied a large swathe of Belgium from 1914 to 1918. If the war had gone on a little bit longer, the Germans would have been kicked out of Belgium altogether because they were on the defensive. Now, as you can imagine, the Belgians weren't too happy about this, all this devastation and destruction that the Germans had caused by invading their country. So there was a lot of animosity towards it. However, this was viewed as a sort of compromise. So the Germans would just mass grave. There's another thing from the Treaty of Versailles. Would mass grave. Oh no, I don't think that was actually, no. Germans just generally mass grave there. Like they just won't. They won't individualize gravestones. They'll just mass grave them. The ones that they could identify. So as I said, most of these stones have more than one name on it, so there's more than one person buried here. There are literally hundreds of stones, and each one has more than one in there. Some of them, one of them had 8. This one's got 2 that I'm just walking past now. These are ones that could be identified. Now they've got pretty accurate records because the Germans kept very accurate records. Remember, these guys were cut down mostly by the British. By the time that this battle took place, most of these were up against British troops, seasoned professional British troops that could fire off 15 rounds a minute from their Lee Enfield rifles, which is pretty impressive for the time. Only they could do it. However, the British also lost seasoned veterans like professional army, so their ranks were pretty decimated too, but not to the extent that these Germans were. It's just row upon row. Now also, I learned yesterday, I came here yesterday on the tour, but we didn't spend much time here, so I came back today, this is Friday, and I can spend a lot more time here, a lot more time. And also you see oak trees. There's a reason for that I learned yesterday. Oak trees symbolize eternal life. So that's why the oak trees were put here. And as I said, with that earlier video, Adolf Hitler visited the site. It's not really a fun fact, but yeah, look that one up. Adolf Hitler visits Langamark cemetery, and you'll see that photo. He posed on that gate for a picture in 1940 after the fall of Belgium in the Second World War. Remember the Belgians also didn't like the Germans very much, because the Germans had invaded Belgium twice in less than 26 years. So once in 1914, where they occupied most of the country before they were finally getting kicked out in 1918, but not entirely kicked out, and then in 1940 to 45 when World War II was taking place. So yeah, Belgium got invaded, so there was a lot of animosity towards, well, not a lot of love towards the Germans from the Belgian people. Although the Second World War was a bit different, there wasn't so much destruction caused by the Germans because the Belgian army capitulated so fast, and the Allies, well, the French and British fell. Well, France fell, Belgium fell, the Netherlands fell. Western Europe was pretty much dominated by the Germans in the Second World War for a number of years before the British and Americans liberated from the West and the Soviets from the East. So yeah, this gives you, I'm right at one of the corners of the cemetery. So it's very, very big. Maybe I'll do one more pan to give you an idea of how big this place is.